Hi, welcome back to Music with Gigi. My name is Gigi Shadid, and before we begin today's lesson, I just wanted to remind you that if you want to listen to any original Orthodox children's music, you can go to YouTube and listen to them for free. Just type in Gigi Baba Shadid and the name of any of the albums, like Fruit of the Spirit, Celebrate the Feasts, ABCs of Orthodoxy, and Fight the Good Fight. And if you type those in, it'll show lots of songs. And you can listen for free. And also, if you're interested, we've got a math CD called Middle School Math Music. All right, so today we are going to learn about a special feast in the church where we remember three pillars of the Orthodox Church. And I've got the icon behind me as well. These are three luminaries, a luminary like bright lights in the church. Their names are Saint Gregory the Theologian, Saint John Chrysostom, and Saint Basil the Great. These guys are a big deal in the Orthodox Church. We don't call many of our saints the Great or even Theologian, and certainly only one is called Chrysostom, which means golden tongue. These three saints were such a big deal. They were born and they lived in around the 5th century. They all lived around the same time as each other. And they were such a big deal that there was fighting amongst the people as to who was the greatest. This happened around 1100. I'm going to read to you a story today that'll explain why we have a special day in the church, January 30th, where we remember the Three Holy Hierarchs. Okay? So this book is written by this is great. If you don't have these books, these are really wonderful, so I'll give them a little plug. So you can see the website on the bottom. They have lots of cute little books that teach you about the lives of various saints. So thanks to Potamitis Publishing for making such awesome resources for us. All right, this is called the Three Holy Hierarchs, or the Three Hierarchs. In the 11th century, many years after three great saints, Saint Basil, Saint Gregory the Theologian, and Saint John Chrysostom, had fallen asleep in Christ, people in Constantinople began arguing about who of these three were the greatest of them all. Soon, there were three large groups that were fighting and disputing over who was the greatest. The first one, they thought Saint Basil was the greatest, and they were called the Basilites. They said, Basil's the most important of them all. The second group, the Johninites, said, Saint John Chrysostom is worthy of the most honor. And they kept on saying, John is the best. John is the best. The other group saying, Basil is the best. Basil is the best. Well, there was a third group, and they were called the Gregorites. They said that St. Gregory should be the most honored. He was the theologian. Gregory is the best. Gregory is the best. That's what they were saying. Well, listen to this. Day after day, the situation only grew worse. One night, the Three Holy Hierarchs appeared in a dream to the Bishop of Efkaita, St. John Maropos, who was sad. This one is St. John, right here, a different St. John. He was asleep. He was sad by the divisions in the church. Isn't that sad that they were fighting over which saint was the best? So he had a dream. And in his dream, the Three Holy Hierarchs appeared and said, John, call the faithful. Tell them that there is no first, second, or third among us. And there is no rivalry between us. We're not fighting. It's not like, when you have school rivalries. No. He said, we are united. That's what they said. We are united in the love of Christ in the heavens. And we don't want disagreements because of us on earth. That's not from God. After the bishop woke up, he did exactly as the three holy fathers said. He gathered the Christians together and he told them, Brethren, the Three Holy Hierarchs, they are bright lights of our church. We must keep all three of them in our hearts and follow their example. Let us recall what each of them have done for our faith. So do you know what each of those three saints did? Let's find out. Saint Basil the Great, let me find him. Here we go. See, Saint Basil the Great. He also wrote the Divine Liturgy, Saint Basil. Saint Basil the Great built a whole city, Vasiliada, for the poor, the sick, the elderly, and the orphans. He led a pious and ascetic life, and he was humble and wise. He wrote many important books about the Christian faith. So he's a big deal. He used to say that one should be careful about picking a book to read, as if he were willingly giving the steering wheel of our life to the author of that book. So we should be careful about the books we choose to read. We should thus read books that are profitable for our souls and avoid books that can harm us. So thanks, St. Basil. We learned a lot from him. Then St. Gregory, who is called the Theologian, he managed in less than 2 years to win back the heretics of the great city of Constantinople to the church. He was named theologian because of his preachings full of godly wisdom and his spiritual writings and poems which strengthened the faith of the Christians of his time. So that's St. Gregory the Theologian. Thanks, St. Gregory. And lastly, Saint John Chrysostom, also author of the Divine Liturgy that we use almost every Sunday. St. Basil's we use about 10 Sundays a year. St. John was a true nightingale of the church. He was golden-mouthed preacher who planted the word of Christ directly into the hearts of his listeners. In addition to being a great speaker, he also fed 7,000 poor inhabitants of Constantinople every single day. Wow. He fell asleep in Christ while in exile, for he, just like St. John the Forerunner, he dared to point out the mistakes of the emperor. He often said, listen carefully, kids, just one single person with God's flame in his heart is able to change the whole city for the better. Just one person with the flame and the light of Christ in their heart is able to change their whole city. The three quarreling groups, the three that were saying, John is the best, Basil is the best, Gregory is the best, they listened carefully to the words of this holy bishop, Saint John Maropos. Then they made peace and they said to the bishop, please, let's have a special day where we can honor these three holy hierarchs in a joint feast. Thus, January 30th was established as their common feast day. Isn't that a great story? The first little song, we're just going to sing something that we hear in the Divine Liturgy. As I said, 2 of those 3 hierarchs wrote the Divine Liturgy for us. When we sing Save us, O Son of God, who art risen from the dead, we sing that every Sunday. But on a weekday, when we have liturgy, we sing Save us, O Son of God, who art wondrous in the saints. God is working his wonders in the saints. We don't worship the saints in the Orthodox Church. We only worship God. But the saints point us to Christ. So let's sing that one 3 times. Listen to me the first time and join me on the next 2. Hear it in the Divine Liturgy, especially on the weekdays. You should go to those weekday liturgies if possible. Save us, O Son of God, who art wondrous in the saints, who sing to thee, Alleluia. Together. Save us, O Son of God, who art wondrous in the saints, who sing to thee, Alleluia. Save us, O Son of God, who art wondrous in the saints, who sing to thee, Alleluia. Good singing, everybody. We ask God to save us, who shows his wonders in his saints. Lastly, today's gospel, or the gospel reading on the Feast of the Three Holy Hierarchs, is from the Gospel of St. Matthew. So you have an Orthodox Bible or any Bible, open it up to chapter 5 in Matthew, chapter 5, verses 14 through 16. Listen to these beautiful words. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Let's say that last line again. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Amen. These three holy luminaries of the church were like lights. The light of Christ shone through them, and they brought so many people to Christ. I'm going to sing one more song with you, and I bet you know it. This little light of mine, you should let it shine. Sing it with me. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Very good. You guys are doing awesome. Give yourselves a big hand. You have the light of Christ in you. And just like the saint said, if you have a light in you and that light of Christ is shining, so many people can light their candles and come to Christ because of your witness. So let's be inspired by these blessed luminaries of the church. Remember their names? Saint Gregory the Theologian, Saint John Chrysostom, and Saint Basil the Great. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you guys next time on Music with Gigi. Bye-bye.